Hi, I'm Cody with Sequan Studios, and this is the boss, Mr. Magoo. It's a rainy day today, so he's really cuddly right now. Yeah, so anyway, what I want to talk to you about today is my favorite session in a D&D campaign. It's before anything even begins, before you want to go? Okay. Uh, Sorry about that. Yeah, my favorite session. It is session 0, the one that happens before anything begins, where you set up your players, things like that, and really set the tone for your campaign. So, what I want to talk about is how you can make that the most success and really set a foundation for your campaign. Because have you ever started a campaign that didn't quite click and then it slowly drifted? That usually starts before session 1. Session 0 isn't about creating a bunch of lore for your players to memorize. It's not about 2 hours of building your characters, although that is my favorite part about it. I love making characters. It's about creating alignment. It's making sure that everyone at the table is playing the same game even before the game begins. And then if you make this part clear, your campaign runs smoother. If it's not, you spend months fixing problems that didn't really need to exist. Players will end up feeling disconnected, motivation definitely drops, and your sessions will start to feel scattered. And none of this is because you're a bad DM, which I get in my head as well. And I blame myself and I analyze what could I have done better and things like that. And it's a downward spiral, leads to some burnout, I know for myself anyway. But it's all because this part wasn't set up properly and set up strong to begin. So that's actually, there's 4 things that I want to go over and set this up so you have a really strong session 0. First thing, the game you're running. Tell your players, what kind of game is this? This sets your tone, the style, the expectations. Is it dangerous, survival focused, or is it more light and like a heroic adventure? Is failure a part of the experience? If you check out Tides of the Drowned Sovereign, there is failure packed into that adventure, and that's a part of it. It's meant to be a failure adventure and shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing because the world is going to continue to advance, win or lose. Or are your players expected to feel powerful most of the time? You don't need lots of explanations. You just need some clarity. Because if you don't define this, players are going to fill the gaps in themselves and run with it. And you're not railroading them, but you're trying to minimize wasted prep. You're trying to minimize having players go in different directions. Second, what you want to do is set up player expectations. This is where you define how the table actually runs. Is this role play heavy or more combat focused? Are your players expected to stay in character? And how do you want them to, have your conversations? The very first time I got into it, I didn't know how to actually role play. So it's a good way to give newer players examples of what an interaction could look like. So you could have it set up where you're an NPC and actually just role play the role play so that your newer players get an idea of how to interact with the world. Is it a serious tone or more relaxed and social? And just as important, logistics. How often are you playing? How long are the sessions? What happens if someone can't make it? These things might feel obvious, but it's where a lot of campaigns quietly fall apart. I like to set up group chats, and then that way we can keep in touch throughout the week. And as soon as one of the players or myself figure out that, oh, I'm not going to be able to make this work, we're in communication, and it takes effort, like everything in life. It's not just, oh, we've set it out and poof, it's magically worked out. You got to continue to work on it. And sometimes maybe Johnny forgets to message you and he messages 10 minutes late saying, oh, I can't make it tonight. Well, you've set it out so that you know what to do when someone show up. And if one player is treating the game casually and others are treating it like a commitment, that tension shows up fast. And so you say it clearly now or you deal with it later. Third, the party foundation. So why are these characters together? This isn't optional. If they don't know why they're together and they don't have a reason to work together, you're going to feel that immediately in session one. Conversations will stall, motivation feels forced, players don't naturally move forward. So you got to give them a foundation. Are they the part of the same crew? Do they have a shared goal? Do they have a shared history or something in the past? Are they a hired group? Are they members of the same faction? Having something that ties them together before the first decision ever happens. You're not restricting their creativity, you're giving it direction. Fourth, the first session start. So this is where a lot of session zeros will fail. They end with, all right, we'll start next week or whenever you decide. This is what I like to do personally, is run a quick little 20-30 minute scene so that it really sets up and you end on a decision. But you could end off with just having a conversation, and instead you end by stating a clear moment. Where are they? What's happening? What's the immediate problem? So you're already on a ship, there's a storm rolling in, and you got to either get to port or clear seas. And so it gives them a decision to end with. Or the town has been raided by some raiders. You have to go in and choose to either help the injured, put out some fires, or go after the raiders and get justice for the town that got raided. Things like that. So you're leaving on a bit of a cliffhanger, and that way when your session one starts, you're already in the thick of it, and it's not some slow moving target. You're already in it, and the players are invested. And there's also no confusion. You just start right in motion. So if I was running a nautical campaign like Tides of the Drowned Sovereign, it would look like this. Tone: it's dangerous, survival focused. The players are expected to work as a crew. The party is either hired by someone in the town or the port, or they've come together because they heard rumors about these powerful relics and they want to go and stop the awakening. Start: a storm hits and a rival ship appears on the horizon. Now the players already know what kind of world they're in, how they should act, and what they're walking into. That's immediate momentum. A few things you do want to avoid: don't overbuild the lore. Players don't need pages of history before they care. And you don't want to let session zero drag on for hours. Clarity beats length. You want to set a time goal, get everything done and accomplished in that time, mimic the idle chatter, and make sure that you don't leave without that starting point. And ideally, setting up a group chat so that you can keep in touch and your communication can stay strong. It also helps to have a date set firmly already as well, so that you know we're meeting next Monday, 2 weeks from now, whenever it is, but have that start date set in place. When you've done all this right, everything is going to feel a lot smoother. Players know what they're in, they know how to act, and they understand each other's characters. And you don't spend your early sessions trying to fix problems that should have been handled here. Session zero doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be clear. And if your session zero is clear, your campaign has the potential to last much longer. So if you want some tools to help build sessions faster, after that, I've got the DM Quick Start Guide below. You can grab that. Depending on when you watch this is my very first video. I'm going to be working on the DM Starter Kit, so it's going to have a few more things. So if you're watching this later down the road, then yeah, you'll grab that instead. And if you really want, check out my Etsy shop. I've got tons of tools meant to help DM run smoother, better games, and just minimize the clutter and keep organized. So thank you very much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, please share it. Yeah, anyway, have a great day.